Hey y'all, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Katousha and I recently watched Self-Made on Netflix, inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker. Octavia Spencer plays the lead and she does a great job of portraying the astute business mind of Madam C.J. Walker, who was born Sarah Breedlove. She's famous for having been one of the founding mothers of the beauty industry for African American women and Black women around the globe, as well as for being a really successful businesswoman in a time where racism and sexism were accepted on every level of society. She's known as the first self-made female millionaire in the United States. After I watched the miniseries, I watched some reviews on YouTube from some young Black female YouTubers, and I was really surprised by the amount of backlash that the miniseries received. See, there's a character in the miniseries named Annie Malone. Addie is the antagonist in the miniseries. She's somebody that Madam C.J. Walker works for, and then she turns out to be a colorist who would be ashamed to have the dark-skinned Madam C.J. Walker selling her hair products. Eventually, Annie Malone even follows Madam C.J. Walker across the country to try to compete with her, but in the end, we end up seeing her overcome, and we all applaud while Madam C.J. Walker gains the fame and the recognition for being the founder of the beauty industry in Black America. Well, it turns out that Annie Malone was based on real-life African-American beauty industry pioneer Annie Malone. There's a lot more to Annie Malone than we see depicted in this miniseries. In the miniseries, she's portrayed as this jealous symbol that's anti-feminist. So I thought it would only be fair to give you guys the true story of Annie Malone. Annie Minerva Turnbow was born in 1869 in Illinois to formerly enslaved parents. She was one of 11 children, and unfortunately at a young age, she and her brothers and sisters were orphaned. Annie loved studying chemistry in high school, and she also loved doing her sister's hair. Eventually, she decided to merge these two loves, and she created a line of hair and beauty products for African American women. At the time, not so far removed from today, mind you, natural Black hair was not really acceptable in society. Being able to straighten curls and hide the kinky texture of your hair was very important to Black women because their appearance very often indicated their standing in society. They used all kinds of things on their hair, like heavy oils and various fats and greases to try to straighten their hair. But this was horrible for their hair and their scalp. Annie's products, on the other hand, such as the wonderful hair grower that she was famous for, were advertised to promote a healthy scalp and longer locks. She also sold lipsticks, face powder, and creams for Black women. She sold door to door and eventually did so well in Illinois that she ended up moving to St. Louis, Missouri. Missouri was a booming town for business, and Annie's business was no exception. She grew so rapidly. She went from employing 3 women in St. Louis to 75,000 people all around the world. Because of the brilliant businesswoman that she was, she made sure that that cosmetology school also served as a manufacturing plant, an auditorium, meeting space, a retail store, and much more. She created so many jobs in the Black community, and one of those jobs went to Madam C.J. Walker. She did in fact sell products for Annie Malone. Annie took the name Malone in 1914 after marrying Aaron Eugene Malone. She continued to be a huge powerhouse and philanthropist in the Black community. She consistently donated to Howard University. She sat on the board of directors of St. Louis Colored Orphans Home. Her college provided a space for African American religious and social gatherings, which were oftentimes prohibited by segregation laws. All 75,000 of her employees were African American, and she made sure that they were paid fairly and given the opportunity to advance. After the Great Depression of the 30s, her business continued to thrive, although it did shrink significantly. Most accounts of her life say that although she earned as much as $14 million in assets in her lifetime, she gave most of her fortune away to Black issues and movements of the day. After the Great Depression of the 1930s, her business shrunk in size but continued to thrive. Annie Malone passed away after a stroke in 1957 in Chicago, but her legacy continues to be honored around the country today. St. Louis hosts the annual Annie Malone May Day Parade every year in her honor to raise money for mental health and residential services for Black children and families in St. Louis. It sucks that in order to honor one Black woman, Netflix and the producers of this show decided to dishonor another Black woman. a Black woman who was definitely deserving of more honor than she got. It's reminiscent of the racism and the sexism that both Madam C.J. Walker and Annie Malone faced in their day. Annie was the original creator of the wonderful hair grower. And although Madam C.J. Walker claims that she got the idea for all of her hair products in a dream, it's more likely that she just stole the formula from the products that she was selling for Annie Malone. So it makes sense that there was a rivalry. It's not far-fetched. I don't believe that Annie Malone was jealous of Madam C.J. Walker or that she was necessarily colorist. There's nothing really that points to that in her story. It seems to me that she was somebody who loved her people. She loved Black people. She was there to advance them, promote them, employ them. She created 75,000 jobs in the Black community, and that is not a small number. She had the right to her feelings. It didn't make her any less of a brilliant entrepreneur, any less of a major philanthropist to her community, or any less of a hero. You are definitely a hero, Annie Malone, and I honor you, and all Black women honor you. Thank you for everything that you've done. And thanks you guys for watching this video. If you don't mind, go ahead and give it a share and even like it. Comment below some other women like Annie Malone, like Claudette Colvin, who were superseded by other Black women. For some reason, it just seems like Black women are always pitted against each other. What are some ways that we can combat that today in our generation? What can we do to be different? What can we do as a society to be more aware of that tendency to pit us against each other? And how can we fight against that together? Thanks again, you guys.